3 minutes in 3 games. That's what I was working with at this point. You have 1 minute and you gotta make something happen. Missed shot, you're out. Scored on, you're out. How would you react? Well, that's the decision I had to make heading into our most important game yet. My name is Jose Colorado and I'm a 7-year professional basketball player. And right now we're on an all expenses paid tour in China. So far, we've played 12 games in about 3.5 weeks. And many of those matches have been against Team Spain, a club made of Spanish and Swedish pro players. We're in the middle of a 7-game series. And about a week ago, that series stood at 3-1 for Team Spain. But we've caught up since. We won in Luoyang, we won in Heilongjiang, and now we're here, Heilongjiang, for Game 7. But to be honest, I don't know how to feel about it. At the beginning of the tour, I was contributing, scoring, shooting, making plays, but we were losing. Now, over the past week, coach has tightened up his rotation. Less minutes for me, more minutes for others. But we're winning. I'd like to think there's no correlation, but as a competitor, how can you not think that? If I'm being honest with myself, I gotta say the benching is warranted. I just haven't been making enough shots, and as an undersized shooting guard, if you aren't making shots, ultimately there's gonna be someone on the team who can do the other things better than you. That takes us to Game 7. Me, fresh off of 3 consecutive benchings where I played a total of 3 minutes. But here, right from the start, I could tell something was off. But not with me, with them. As in, all those games and minutes that we had been playing has clearly caught up to both sides. On average, we've been playing a game every 2 days at this point, while also traveling all across China. So everyone looks and is playing exhausted. So as I sat from the bench, I could tell this was my opportunity. I smelled blood in the water. My legs were fresh and theirs weren't. Now, on every overseas tour that I've ever seen or been a part of, there always comes this moment, a break-in moment within the tour. People get homesick, they get exhausted, they get injured, they get sick, but opportunities always come up. It's just a matter of being able to seize that opportunity when you're called upon. As overseas players, this is a great lesson to learn because every game is a tryout. Every game is an opportunity to make a better highlight film. And ultimately, in this scenario, every game was an opportunity to showcase my talents in front of players and coaches across the world. So with that in mind, I embraced my role this game. I touched the ball a lot more and I was even creating some plays for my teammates as well. I was shooting pull-ups, shooting threes, attacking the basket, and making plays on both ends. I even got a block. Now, despite my contributions, my minutes still got capped in the end. I think I only played about 15 to 17, 18 minutes around there, but it was clear that I made a huge impact on the game. So that was a pretty sweet way to end the series. Winning Game 7, being the game MVP, and gaining the respect of my teammates and opponents in the process. But still, there was one more big test waiting for us on our last stop. Sports and politics can never be separate. That's because every decision you make is inherently political, whether you know it or not. Someone, somewhere, is impacted by something that you did. And never was this more on display than in Heilongjiang, a province located in northern China. Here we were to play in a mini tournament called the Jixian International Basketball Invitational. There were 3 teams, Team USA, Team Spain, and Team Russia. Now, unlike in other cities where warm smiles and handshakes were the norm, in Heilongjiang, there was a different vibe. For decades, tensions have been running high between the Americans and Russians in political affairs, and that animosity was felt right here in this little basketball tournament. In fact, the organizers were so worried that whenever we went out, it was mandatory that a police officer or 2 were with us at all times. Everyone was asking why, but we were always just hit with the same word, safety. But safety from what? Safety from the locals. Some officers said it was because of the political tensions with Russia, but I never really bought into any of it. Everywhere else we've gone in China has proven to be very safe, very warm, very kind. And whenever we went out, it was basically the same love from here. The locals would interact with you, they would talk with you, and they would be very curious about what you're up to. But there was always this overarching element of being controlled while we were here, that maybe there was something else at play here that we didn't know or that they didn't want us to know. Regardless, we tried to make the most of it and even made some good friends with the security guards. With all that in mind, that leads us to the game itself. Now, the first game was between Team Spain and Team Russia. And just looking at the Russians, man, they look like kids. This wasn't exactly what I was envisioning when I thought of Team Russia. And sure enough, it turns out that many of these players are actually college players, with only a few of them being Division II professional players in Russia. For me, it was like deja vu all over. Because when we played local Chinese teams, it was actually the university clubs that we matched up against, rather than the NBL or CBA clubs. And both those games proved to be huge blowout wins for us. So it was kind of a letdown that again, we were playing another college-like team from another country. Here we wanted to test our stuff against the best, or the best that could be brought to Heilongjiang. Despite that, Team Spain actually lost, which was shocking to all of us. But Russia kept it close throughout the game and came away with the win. Now the other side of this is that even though we had completed our 7-game series with Team Spain, we had to play them now in this tournament as a part of this specific competition. And we ended up losing that game. We really struggled to get any type of motivation to play them for the 9th time, and it was just a flat and miserable game. So with that in mind, with Team Spain losing to Team Russia and us losing to Team Spain, we had to defeat Team Russia by at least 15 points in order to win the tournament. And man, did we absolutely obliterate that with flying colors. From the start, we absolutely jumped all over this club, forcing turnovers, layups, fast breaks, you name it. Everyone got in on the act. I hit a few jumpers, other people were setting each other up for lobs and transition. I mean, it was a show worthy of Team USA. In the end, we won the game by 60+ points and we were crowned tournament champs. A beautiful cherry on the top to a very exhausting month-long tour in China. Now granted, how much will this actually impact our overseas careers? Probably next to nothing. But the fact that we were able to play against a different level of competition, a Russian squad, and not just solely against Team Spain, was a great experience. 3.5 weeks, 12 games in 7 different cities. When you look at an overseas basketball tour, there's many different things that you can pull from it. Connections, film, exposure, eyeballs. When it comes to this tour, we did get some, but not all of the benefits. Regardless, this was a once-in-a-lifetime experience for me, something that I won't forget, and hopefully a series that you guys listening can learn from and benefit for your own careers. If you've made it this far, thanks so much for listening through all of these episodes and videos. I appreciate it, and I'll be back home soon making some more educational content for you guys. Peace.